This video is proudly supported by Ragib. Don't hate, donate.
Yo everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're breaking down one of the strongest open field lineups in Season 4 for Warrior Pikemen. Ever since Mansa Musa dropped in Season 3, Warrior Pikes have gone from meh to meta, and now with Cyrus joining the roster in S4, they're absolutely cracked. Cyrus brings the one thing this troop type lacked: high, consistent DPS. What used to be an annoying comp to deal with has evolved into one of the top performing open field lineups this season. Let's dive in and break it all down. Hero synergy, skills, rings, gems, and build priorities. Our first build is a full damage setup: Cyrus, Boudica, and Mansa Musa. This comp is all about maximizing counterattack damage in both swarms and 1v1s. What makes it nasty? Boudica and Cyrus don't need to get hit a certain number of times to trigger their skills, they just respond instantly. Which means if you're being attacked by someone like Lu Bu, who hits 3 times a second, you're basically farming damage. The more chaos, the better. Cyrus is your primary commander and the main damage dealer in this lineup. His first skill, Isolated Green Vine, hits up to 3 enemies and boosts the trigger rate of his customizable skills by 10% for 12 seconds. That's a long uptime in open field fights. His signature skill, King of the World, does it all. Every time a customizable skill deals damage, there's a 65% chance to deal extra damage again. When it procs, it also grants 50 might for 3 seconds. Even better, it has a 50% chance to ignore 20% of the enemy's defense and a passive 30% chance to reduce incoming might damage by 5%. This makes Cyrus one of the most versatile damage dealers in the game. Now, let's talk star ranks. At 1 star, he gets a small bump to his skill damage. Not great. At 3 stars, the chance to ignore enemy defense increases by 15%, and he gains a passive reduction to secondary strike damage in the first 18 seconds of battle. This is a big turning point. At 5 stars, it's game-changing. You get a 30% increase to customizable skill damage, plus even more reduction to might and secondary strike damage. This is why Cyrus is a must-invest hero. For customizable skills, we recommend Child of Prophecy for critical burst and protection against incoming crits, and Forceful Retaliation to boost counterattack damage and give bonus might. When it comes to upgrades, Cyrus should be your #1 priority. Boudica is your second hero in this lineup. She plays a crucial support role, dealing counterattack damage and boosting Cyrus's overall power. Her signature skill, Swift Reprisal, does 2 big things. First, it reflects damage back whenever her troops are attacked. Second, it gives a flat bonus of 15 might to the ally with the highest base might, almost always Cyrus. This turns her into a passive damage amplifier for your carry. For customizable skills, run Forceful Retaliation and King's Blade. Forceful Retaliation adds more counterattack power and gives a might boost every time it procs. King's Blade increases normal attack damage and has a chance to reduce the target's damage output, making enemies weaker with every swing. Now let's look at her star ranks. At 1 star, you get a 25% increase to her reflect damage. At 3 stars, her trigger chance goes up by 5%, so her skills activate more often, but at 5 stars, things get serious. The might buff she gives Cyrus increases from 15 to 45. That's a huge stat boost, and it's always active. Boudica doesn't need to be flashy, she just needs to stay alive and keep getting hit. Because every hit she takes, every time she reflects, every bit of might she gives, it all flows into Cyrus. That's what makes her such a perfect match for this comp. Mansa Musa is your defensive backbone in this lineup. His job is to keep your team alive while still contributing solid passive damage. His signature skill, Devout Radiance, triggers every 12 normal attacks received with a cap of 2 per second. So in most fights, it goes off about every 6 seconds. When it activates, it deals decent damage, and more importantly, it reduces your troops' damage taken by 12% for 3 seconds. At 3 stars, it gets even better. Every activation now heals your troops, giving you consistent sustain throughout the battle. At 5 stars, the effect lasts 6 seconds instead of 3, and the damage reduction jumps from 12 to 18%. In swarm situations, that means Mansa can maintain full uptime on his damage reduction, and that makes a huge difference. For customizable skills, give him Fearless Retribution to boost counterattack damage and Golden Odyssey to enhance your commander's overall output. As far as upgrades go, your top priority should be Golden Odyssey, followed by Mansa's star ranks, and then any remaining support skills. If you can only take one hero to 5 stars in this lineup, it should be Mansa Musa. He's the glue that keeps your damage dealers alive and the reason this lineup doesn't fall apart under pressure. For this lineup, you want to run Roman Centurions. They're absolutely perfect for warrior pikemen. First, they give you a flat 2% skill damage boost all the time. Second, every time you deal skill damage, which includes counterattacks, you get a 3.5% damage reduction buff. And yes, counterattacks count as skill damage, so this effect is basically always active during battle. It's free damage, free defense, and full synergy with this entire comp. Now, let's get into the second lineup, where we drop Boudica and bring in Barbarossa for a much tankier, swarm-friendly version of the warrior pikeman build. This comp runs Cyrus, Barbarossa, and Mansa Musa. Instead of pure burst, this one focuses on staying alive longer, soaking up hits, and letting Cyrus dish out consistent damage over time. Barbarossa is your anchor. He doesn't need to top the charts in damage. His job is to keep the team alive when things get messy. His signature skill, Pledge of Victory, is simple but powerful. It reduces all incoming damage to your team passively, and when Barbarossa drops below 50% HP, the effect doubles, and he starts healing for a full 9 seconds. That healing is key in swarm fights, where chip damage can quickly wipe out glass cannon lineups. At 1 star, his healing is boosted by 20%. At 3 stars, the passive damage reduction improves slightly, but 5 stars is where the magic happens. It lets the double damage reduction and healing effect trigger at 75% HP instead of 50. That's a massive survivability jump. If you're committing to this build long term, 5-star Barbarossa is a game changer. Run Metal and Peaceful Haven. Metal gives bonus healing in swarm conditions, making it a budget-friendly sustain option. Peaceful Haven reduces all damage taken, adding even more durability to the front line. These skills don't just help Barbarossa stay up, they help Cyrus stay free to do what he does best, deal damage. Now let's talk rings. For Cyrus, stick with Messenger of Destruction or Ring of Boar. Both are excellent for boosting passive skill damage, which scales perfectly with Cyrus's whole kit. On Mansa Musa, we recommend Lofty Mountain. You'll get early damage resistance, then a late game damage buff, which pairs beautifully with Mansa's sustained playstyle. And for Barbarossa, go with Ring of Clover or Ring of Falcon. Clover gives a bit of healing and solid defense, making it great for tanks. Falcon provides reliable support every 9 seconds, either healing your troops or reducing incoming damage. Perfect for longer fights where survivability really matters. When it comes to scrolls and stars, here's the order. Upgrade Cyrus's customizable skills and stars first, then Golden Odyssey on Mansa Musa. After that, level up Peaceful Haven. Upgrade Metal last. It's cheap and efficient, but not a high priority. This version of the Warrior Pikeman lineup is all about endurance. You're sacrificing the burst and aggression of Boudica for reliable healing, team-wide damage reduction, and long-term value. If you like open field fights where you grind down your opponent instead of blowing them up, you're going to love this build. It's swarm resistant, team friendly, and works great for field fights, rally hits, or even defending your city when things get spicy. Alright, now for the third and final variation of this build. This one swaps Barbarossa for Ramcom Hang, giving you a lineup that balances damage and durability almost perfectly. The setup is Cyrus, Ram, and Mansa Musa. Think of this as the middle ground between the full DPS comp with Boudica and the tanky Barbarossa version. It's flexible, durable, and great in both solo and group play. Ram is here to support, tank, and buff your whole squad. His signature skill, Splendor of Sukhothai, is a defensive gem. Every 6 seconds, it grants damage reduction for 3 seconds, and it also boosts the attributes of nearby commanders. That means Cyrus and Musa both benefit just by standing next to him. It's subtle, but in longer fights or team skirmishes, that extra stat scaling adds up fast. Ram actually has a really solid star path. At 1 star, the damage reduction from his skill goes up by 3%. At 3 stars, he gains a healing component. Now, every activation also recovers HP. At 5 stars, things get spicy. There's a 20% chance the reduction effect extends by another 3 seconds, and nearby commanders get +2 to their highest attribute. It's not as game-breaking as Musa's 5th star, but it's definitely strong for a support hero. He's going full support here. Equip him with Tenacity and Peaceful Haven. Tenacity gives him extra healing and reduces normal attack damage. Peaceful Haven adds general damage resistance, keeping your squad alive during hectic fights. You're not using Ram for offense. He's here to tank hits, boost allies, and stay on the field. Let's go over rings. On Cyrus, you're sticking with Messenger of Destruction or Ring of Boar. That passive damage is still your carry mechanic. On Mansa Musa, again, use Lofty Mountain. Great early defense, followed by a late game DPS spite. And for Ram, your best picks are Ring of Clover, gives you damage reduction and survivability. Ring of Falcon, provides steady healing and damage reduction, letting Ram support the team beyond just soaking hits. Or Tranquil Water if you want extra damage reduction to absorb focus fire in swarms. This comp lets Cyrus shine just like the others, but Ram gives you more team synergy, especially in group fights. You're still durable, but with slightly more damage than the Barbarossa version, thanks to Ram's better attribute scaling and offensive gems. If you're playing in coordinated marches or want something that's good at everything without being too extreme, this is the lineup to go with. It's also a great option if you haven't invested in Barbarossa but already have Ram ranked up. Stick to the same order as before. Prioritize Cyrus, Skills and Stars, then Golden Odyssey on Musa. After that, level Peaceful Haven, then Tenacity for Ram if you've got the scrolls. And that wraps up all 3 versions of the Warrior Pikeman Season 4 build. Whether you're going all in on burst damage with Boudica, anchoring for tank fights with Barbarossa, or balancing both with Ram Kam Heng, there's a lineup here for every playstyle. Just remember, no matter which version you run, Cyrus is the core. Invest in his stars, build around his damage, and support him with the right skills and rings. If you found this guide helpful, drop a like, leave a comment with the next lineup you want to see, and don't forget to subscribe for more in-depth breakdowns. Also, if you want to optimize your heroes even faster, download the Era Companion app available now on Apple and Android, track your builds, theorycraft lineups, and stay ahead of the meta right from your phone. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the battlefield.